was the traffic congestion in Nairobi town, and so, or the city center. And so we looked at the very many possible ways, and I'll not go back to what we did. I'll not go back to what we did because we want to save on time. So our problem was the traffic jam in Nairobi city center. And so we have the solutions here. Sam.
Okay, what we do want, because it's so chaotic, you don't want to do that twice, especially if you're driving on the Ngong Road or you're doing the Wayaki way. But basically, we took two examples, one from the US and one from South Africa, and where they've used various technologies to improve on traffic management through radio and SMS. Now, borrowing from that, what we've done is we've looked at certain platforms or technologies we could use, and basically what we're saying is, if we are able to collect enough information, and if we provide opportunities for people to send in that information, and we get information to a data hub. Now, when we got here, one of the debates was, is it going to be by the government? Is it going to be by a private company? Is it going to be managed by an NGO? That is a question mark. But basically, there's going to be a data hub, and the data hub is going to process the information which is going to be sent in either by SMS through a sort code, or there are going to be traffic cameras. Unfortunately, for those of you who overspeed, they are going to be caught in the traffic camera, but again, that is just one of the downside. We also have police reporters who are going to report on incidences like accidents on the road, which might not come in handy. And then we also have a hotline, a number where you can just phone in to say there's traffic here or there's an incident here which you want to. Now, once the data is processed, it's going to be used for 4 different purposes. And I would want to hand over to Chris to tell us what they're going to be used for. Okay.
Thanks, Sam. We actually made it 5. So I'll talk through the first 3 applications or use cases of this data. Once the data is processed, the first use will be for the mobile user who is only on an SMS-capable device. So this is non-internet-enabled mobile use. And this would be to take advantage of a feed that you could subscribe to. So it would be a subscription-based service where you would get a feed at a specified time. So you would ask for a feed at, say, 6 a.m. if that's when you normally leave home to go to work, or at 4:45 p.m. if that's when you're about to leave the office. So you decide what time, and you make some decisions up front before you start your journey. So you're told, Mombasa Road, there's a major accident, maybe I should pass through industrial area, or the president has just landed, and so he'll be using a certain route, and so I pick a different route. That doesn't really account for accidents as they happen, so we'll talk about that. The second use case is just having an internet site. It can be map-based, or it can be a database. It can be accessed from a PC, it can be accessed from a phone. But the idea is, this is for the internet-capable devices, smartphones, or if you're in the office and you need to check online before you start your journey, you could do that. And then the third mode of transmission would be radio. So this would require somebody to parse the information and read it over the radio waves for those who are in their cars. So you can tune into a certain radio station and receive periodic radio updates about traffic.
Okay, so now I'm here to handle what happens to data once it's been collected. As Chris told you, you're getting it via text or via the internet or through the radio stations. So now when all this information is around, what can you then do with it? So one of the things we had in mind was taking it via government. So either through the Ministry of Transportation or city planning, that can all be used to take it, and then they can begin to map, for example, how congested the city is, how they can ease that congestion perhaps by, building extra roads, or I think other examples that are used in different countries. For example, you can only come to town on alternate days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then other days you have to stay home. Just ideas like that can help reduce congestion in the city. And then there's also the idea of open information, where you can release this information to, for example, commercial sources. For example, if Safaricom or Zain or KDN or whoever it is wants to take this up and begin to charge for it, that's a very valuable source of revenue for them and for you who's developed it. There's application developers who can now use it and create maybe freeware that they can distribute to people around the place if you need to have that kind of information at hand. There's advocacy-based initiatives, NGOs, civil society who can then also use it to, for example, lobby the government to provide better services for their citizens. You just need to decongest the city. You need to move things away from Nairobi, etc. And then there's research institutes for, I guess that's self-explanatory. You need the research needed for planning purposes and just to know. So, yeah, I think that about covers it.
Thank you.